Hi guys, I'm back today with a video that I have been waiting to share with you, and that is a video all about the Menagerie Cosmetics Arthurine palette, which I kind of talked about it a little bit briefly the other day, but this is what the outside looks like. It was $54. There are 9 shades inside of here. I'm just going to be forthright and say that a few of these shades are probably not the right shade for my skin, just because I'm very fair skinned, but the ones that are a little deep for my skin do work as eyeshadows, so it is no loss of product there. There's a really interesting array of colors in this, and I really have enjoyed it. The other thing that I want to talk about in this video is the Whalesong palette that I finally got a chance to use. I'm excited to get this, and I finally have it. The inside looks like this. Very pretty greens and blues. I'm normally not a huge blue fan personally, but I do like the look that I got today. There is more blue than I expected to use and was even going to, and it is very bold, but I like it very much. So I want to go ahead and I want to talk about each of these. Oh, sorry, this is $36 and I got both of these at the same time. So technically I probably would have got this a lot sooner had I not got the blush palette, because this was a pre-order item, but they came in a fair amount of time. Menagerie was really good about talking to us about delivery times and things that were going on. I really appreciate that from a brand. Communication is key. In any case, I want to swatch these for you guys, and then I'm going to do many looks with the blushes. I actually used every single one of the blushes at one point or another, and then a few of them I used on their own as well. So it has been well used, and at the very end I'm going to give you my thoughts on both of these palettes. So, to the swatches. I'm going to start with the palette, and the very first shade is Pearl. And it's really weird because in the camera you can barely see it, but in like real life it's very bright. It's like a light pink and then also kind of frosty blue in real life as well. That is weird. Okay, when I tilt my arm really far back you can kind of see it, but it is an interesting shade for sure. She is Plankton. It's a great khaki green shade. Despite it not swatching the easiest, it works very nicely on the eye. This is the shade Barnacle. This is a gray tone blue that has a small hint of green to it as well. The shade is called Cetacean. It is a baby blue. The next shade is called Fluke. And it's kind of a minty metallic green shade. Really pretty. Shade is Reef. And this is kind of a light pine green. Shade is Bubble Net. And it looks like a deep pine green, but it is more blue than it looks here, especially on the eye. The next shade is Breaching. And it is a really nice kind of deeper blue shade. This shade is Kelp. And this is kind of a lime olive green. Next shade is Dive. And this is kind of like a sky blue mixed with cerulean. Next shade is Splash. And this is like a black-based emerald green. Really pretty color. Isn't doing it justice on the camera. In real life, it's very pretty. The namesake of the palette, which is Whalesong. And it is a really pretty blue that almost starts to shift a deeper blue or even a little bit purple. And this is the whole palette. Okay, the first shade in the Arthurine palette is Cloudberry. And the thing to note is that these are blushes. They are not eyeshadows, so they're not going to apply the same. But this is a really lovely kind of mauvey pink shade. It is the one I was probably the most excited for, and it is Goji. And it's a really nice kind of warm orangey yellow shade. It's definitely more orange than yellow, but it has a little bit of yellow to it. Next shade is Sugarberry. And this is almost a purple bubblegum pink shade. Next shade is Dog Rose. And this is a really nice kind of berry red shade. It is Agarita. And this is more of a pinky red color. This next shade is Bearberry. And it is a really nice berry pink shade. Shade is Blueberry. And this is a pinkish purple shade. Definitely more on the purple though. Next shade is Salmonberry. And it is a very salmon color. Shade is Persimmon. Consider this almost like an orange, light red brick. have my mascara on, and I want to give you my final thoughts on both of these palettes. First being the Whalesong palette, which I'm trying to open, and I'm having a hard time doing. This palette is gorgeous. Their eyeshadow palettes are really, really nice. Including the two metallics that are in the Killer Purr palette, their metallics are really, really good, actually. So I don't know if maybe I just got two duds in that one, or I'm not sure, but these are all very creamy. They're very smooth. They're very metallic. Very, very, very. I really enjoy it. I think it's a nice addition to my greens and blues. I have actually been taking these out of their palettes and rearranging them, and I will probably do the same with this because I truthfully don't use blue that often. Now, greens I really like. So I've been trying to separate my collection out and just keep colors that I really like. So that's actually something I've been working on for a hot minute. And I definitely will be keeping the majority of those because they are nice. Even a few of the blues are really, really good. And that's one thing I want to talk about while I'm discussing this with you guys is, for instance, this shade Bubble Net comes off very, very blue on the eye. I was actually very surprised by it. And Barnacle is different on the eye too. Really nice shades. Really enjoy them, but just be careful when you're using them. You may get more of a blue look than you were going for if you were trying to stick to mostly greens, and that's okay. That's all right. I mean, I'm not upset about this at all. It's definitely more intense than I normally wear on a day-to-day basis, but sometimes you're just going to be extra, and that's okay. Now I want to talk about the Arthurine blush palette, which it's volume 1. I'm guessing there's a volume 2 coming, and again, in line with their artwork, I love it. They are so creative, and their work is so beautiful. I love it. And the inside, what I want to say about these shades is that they're really for all different skin types. So this palette would be a really good thing for maybe a makeup artist possibly, because if they're going to be taking your kit out, this kind of covers a lot of skin tones, and there's also variation in the colors here. So you're not just getting, you know, like your standard pink, you're not getting your standard like peach colors. You've got a lot of variation that would work nicely with different skin tones and varying skin colors, which is really important if you're going to be a makeup artist. The thing I've got to say is a lot of these aren't practical for somebody with my skin type. I did use, I think, all of them, except for now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I used Agarita, which I'm kind of like, I don't think I could have used it as a blush. I used this one over here, Bearberry. I used a couple of them, and they were just very, very dark. Now, I had to pretty much, like, take a foundation brush and go back over it. At a few points in the video that you might have just watched, you may have gone, ooh, girl, that's too dark. That's too dark. You're going too much. It's too much. It was too much. Don't worry, I went back over it with a foundation brush. It was still probably too much, but that's okay. We're in the name of trying makeup, why not? We're just trying to see what works and what doesn't. Any of these shades just don't work as blush for me personally. The thing I like about this is that it is for many skin tones, but for practical everyday use, if you're somebody that's not taking your makeup to other places and not using it on other people, this is kind of an impractical purchase for you, in my opinion, because you are going to fall into one of a few different skin color categories, and in that case, some of these shades may not get used and might not be worth it. Now, they did sell these individually as well, and I think my problem is that I love packaging. I have an issue. I can't say no to packaging. And so I did go ahead and get this, but I will have to say, I mean, I could use some of those shades that I can't use for blush as eyeshadow. I could. They'd be huge pans, and I've already got lots of eyeshadows, so I don't know, maybe I will declutter some of the shades that I can't wear, but okay, sorry, I just heard my cat scamper across the floor and probably trash something. All is well. So I guess in the future, I'd really like to see like these palettes or something like them, but for dark skin, medium skin, fair skin, and then you can just buy it like that instead. Keep the packaging. I love the packaging, but, you know, just have a whole grouping for each of us, I should say. Not that this isn't great, but I think somebody with really dark skin would have a hard time using, like, for instance, this shade up here, or even this shade up here comes off a lot lighter than it actually looks in the pan. The other thing is, don't use your fingers at all. Like, you can probably already tell I've got hard pan in a lot of these. So, you know, in this case, it's not something you can't fix, but you got to take like a spoolie and scratch up your pan, and that kind of sucks. So, all things to keep in mind when you are getting these. I definitely think they're nice, but I think that unless you are a working makeup artist, you need to go ahead and just get the individuals. I might be eating my words a little bit here because I have seen some people that do like their own makeup and they use really bold and vibrant and fun colors, things that I can't even begin to use in a way on my face because I just don't have that level of creativity. So if you're one of those people, that's another good buy for you too. I think you would really like it. Or if you are like me and you have a problem and you love the packaging and you just don't care, get the whole darn thing anyway, because it is very nice. Menagerie is a great brand. They have good shipping, they have good customer service, and in general, I've been really happy with all of my purchases I've made with them. So, You guys keep up the good work. I can't wait to see what else you're going to come out with, because you guys just have such a nice aesthetic, and I really appreciate this. This kind of almost, their packaging almost transcends that Lisa Frank line, which I loved growing up as a kid. I mean, if you're one of those kids that you were born in the late 80s, or maybe you were born in the early 90s, and you were around for the Lisa Frank era, think that you can't not like these palettes. So in any case, sorry for the rambling, but I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and ring the bell for future updates, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.